thank you for joining me on my Car Life Stories.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. So, you know we only speak to ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. And I really think that you fit that box so perfectly.
Thank you.
Blush. You're an artist, a trader by day, and an entrepreneur as well. Pledge I can see on your t-shirt.
Yeah.
So I wanted to speak to you because I want you to share your story with our viewers, because I think that you're doing really big things and your story is so extraordinary that it kind of deserves more air.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cool. So before we start, we have this game called Hit the Button. I don't know if you've seen it before.
Never.
No, it's really cool. It's not that hard. So I've given you a button. Let me see it. Test it.
You're proper drawing me out with this.
I've got my own. And somewhere in our studio, we've got a mystery voice who's going to read out some questions. And if you think you know, obviously hit your button. And I'm a bit competitive.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit my button. And let's see who manages to score the most.
All right, let's play it. I don't think I'm going to be that great at it, but we can give it a go.
Let's go for it. All right. Let's see if we hit it at 5 to make it safe.
What did Brits recently vote as the coolest car brand?
Aston Martin.
Yes.
Did you get there first?
No, you got there first.
Oh, my bad.
All right.
What is the only sport which has been played somewhere other than Earth?
Golf?
Yes, on the moon.
What?
On the moon?
They played golf on the moon?
Why not?
What the hell?
What percentage of the world's population have been on a plane?
20%?
I'm going to go 25%.
5%.
What?
5%? Jeez, you're a troll, by the way.
Yeah.
You should tell you.
I did.
How many times does the average person lie per week?
Average person, probably like 80 times.
8.
80.
Oh. Probably 180.
11. What are you
You know what it is? You know what it is, right? You know what it is, right? It's little things like, things I'm thinking about are lies as well. Little things like when like somebody says, I'm fine. That's
Okay.
and they're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And think about how many times you probably say that in a week just to, yeah.
If you watched all of the Marvel Universe films ending with Avengers Endgame, you started midday on the 1st of January, no breaks, when would you finish?
Ending the 1st of January.
So you started
on the 1st
midday, the 1st of January.
January.
When would you finish watching all the Avengers films?
I've watched them all.
I don't think I've watched Avengers.
I've watched them all. I would say 2 weeks later.
6:53 a.m. on the 3rd of January.
That was close.
Proper random questions.
Okay. On average, how many 100 milliliter bottles of fake tan are used for each season of Strictly Come Dancing?
Oh, a lot. 200.
I'll say 50.
570.
So we both lost.
Yeah. But I don't know, so technically that's my
You're still
win.
miles away.
So what percentage of the UK is concreted over?
I'm just going to say 60%.
I think it's lower, 30.
The average person estimates it's 47%, but in fact it's only 0.1%.
What? 0.1% of the UK is...
I guess it's only the 60s.
Yeah,
Obviously, we need to get out more.
yeah, exactly.
All right, this is decider, right?
Right. What is the most popular surname in the world? Is it Rodriguez, Wang, Smith, Chan, or Patel?
Smith. Oh,
Patel.
Wang is the answer.
I don't think I know one Wang, apart from the Alexander Wang. That's, well, I don't even
There's
know. I don't even know
one,
him. No, that's that
Vera,
one.
Vera Wang.
Vera Wang, yeah. So who won?
I don't know. Who won? 'Cause
I wasn't keeping
we were keeping track. I think I won.
You know what? You won.
Thanks. Just let me have it.
There you go. You're good.
Cool. So let's go on to the interview part. So
Yeah.
this is the part where we call like my car life story. So it's all personal, all about you, and it's just really like a chart through your life by the cars that kind of punctuate your life. So what would you say is your earliest childhood memory being in or around a car?
I think my earliest childhood memory, I've got two actually. One of them has to be my dad's, and I believe it was that, I was too young to actually know, a BMW 218 Ti or something, or TS or something like that. It was like a compact sort of BMW. And I used to love it because like, he used to pick me up sometimes after school or like take me on the weekends. And it was just a cruise for me, you know? And I think the cruise coupled with like the reggae music, he'll always play on Lovers Rock. It just, I just always felt like, and I think later on when you find out that like BMWs are very like a driver's car, you know what I mean? That you realise the comfort that comes with it. So I think that's probably my earliest memory. But I would also say my primary school teacher, Mr. Kujas Fahani, he used to give us sports car lessons like at the end of the day, and he used to bring in like little models of sports cars and supercars, which was and the one that I fell in love with that made me realise I actually do love cars was a Lamborghini Diablo. Yeah, that was like in the 90s, early 2000s or something like that.
So at that stage in your life, what were your dreams? Did you have any like ambitions? Who did you want to be?
You know what? To be honest, I watched a lot of Animal Planet when I was a kid, so like I wanted to be a vet. But then I found out that my mum did say that vets make a decent amount of money, and if you make a decent amount of money, you can buy a decent car in a sense. But it was nothing like car related as such. It wasn't even like finance related. It was just more so I just loved animals and just wanted to be a vet really. And yeah, no, I think that's probably that's my
That's the memory.
that's my memory. Yeah.
So what age did you pass your driving test?
I passed my driving test at like 17 or 16. I didn't waste no time. So as soon as I found out I can get things like NI, provisional license, I was just on it. And then luckily for me, a family friend of mine, he worked for quite a known car school. I'm not gonna say the name because what he used to do, he used to like basically pick me up after school or pick me up after college or like on the weekend, or if he's doing a bit of a shop, he'll just pick me up, and then that's how I'll learn how to drive. So I've sort of got like a head start, which sort of helped. And it was all free of charge as well. So all I had to do was make sure that I passed my test. And I kind of failed like 3 times.
Oh my, did you really?
Hither Green, man.
Oh, do you know what? I failed at Hither Green as well. The first time I did it, they took me on a roundabout.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I went on the wrong side of the lines. I'll never forget that man's name, Trevor, who failed me. I thought for certain I had passed.
At my age, no one was really doing driving lessons and stuff. So it's like, if I failed, it's like, but no one else got to fail, you know, because no one else did the test, you know.
Who's the first person that you told when you passed your test?
My boy Corey.
Okay.
And that's funny because Corey and I both failed. We failed together, but then on the day that I did my test, he was doing his test at the same centre, but his was in the morning, mine was in the afternoon. So when I told him that I passed, he was quite spun because he was just like, no way, I passed too. I was like, when? It was like, today. And I was like, me too. And he's like one of my best friends as well. So it was actually jokes because we just, you know how it is back then when it comes to like theories and practicals, you don't really want to share it with people. It's like that secret that you just don't want to say or jinx. So we learned our lesson the first time round, maybe the second time round. And the third time round, I think he passed second time. I passed third. But yeah, he was the first person I told.
So moving on, when you passed, did you get a car straight away or?
Yeah, I didn't really waste time. So my first car I got was, do you remember when smart cars first came out and there was left-hand drive? So my sister's friend, Cisco, he had a smart car and he was selling it for like pretty cheap, literally I think like maybe 1,200 at the time. And I happened to have like 1,200 saved, and I think it was just basically about 1,200 and change. But it's like, I need to get this car. My mum's like, you can't even maintain it. I'm like, no, I need to have this car. you know, and so it was a left-hand drive, grey, smart car for two, Triptronic. And I had that car for probably best of maybe like 8 to 9 months. Loved it. Yeah, and then I just sort of went, a blind spot just got me basically one day. But yeah, that was my first car. That was my pride and joy.
So you're how old then?
Time I was like maybe 17 or 16 going on 17, because it was first year college.
Okay, so what were you studying at that point? Where was your life kind of going? You just passed the test. You're kind of empowered.
Yeah, just passed my test. I was gonna do random subjects in A level. I did sociology, business studies, and media.
So no veterinary. You weren't going to be a vet anymore.
No, I wasn't going to be a vet anymore. I gave up that dream. My way of thinking and my way of like learning is very different from like it doesn't really fit the curriculum like that. Okay. And for me to be, I just want to be in there and out as soon as possible. And when I found out that you have to do like maybe like 5 to 7 years training and studying to be a vet, obviously what they do is very complicated. It just wasn't for me.
Compared to what you do now, maybe the vet thing.
maybe.
Harder?
You know what it is. I still think jobs like vets and doctors are probably harder, to be honest with you, because you got some sort of big responsibility. And same with people love off the animals. You know what I mean?
This is Jamaican.
So yeah, I still think there's probably different types of pressures, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in college, you're studying away, and you have a career in mind, or you don't?
I didn't until second year of college. I knew that I always wanted to be in a job that made me more hands-on. Okay. I knew that I wanted a job that actually allowed me to use my brain, and nothing that was too monotone and mundane. I got exposed to some internships when I was younger, found a way to get in them, made sure, you know, people would say when I was younger that I was very much a people's person or bait person or whatever, but I just sort of tried to think about the professional aspect of that, which is networking. So I just maintained network along the way, and a door opened for me maybe like a year after that, basically. Okay. But it was, I wouldn't think prior to 18 that, prior to even a couple of months before everything actually happened for me and I moved into the industry of finance, that I was going to be in the industry of finance. Yeah, there were so many different things that I wanted to do, or thought I wanted to do.
So what kind of careers were kind of swirling around?
Like random things, to be honest with you. Think like bricklaying. Like I did a bricklaying course. I did a photography course. I did obviously looked into finance as well, but I was more drawn towards media and stuff. But then my media teacher sort of shot those dreams down, in a sense. I'm not shot the dreams down, but like I just probably wasn't as good enough as a camera person as I thought I was. Like I was producing content, and then it was just like,
you went ahead of your time.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, all very different. But I think the main thing that was quite noticeable was that I did have like probably like interesting the creative space through the things like photography, media, and stuff like that, which probably kicked in more later down in life.
So, looking to the future, what do you think would be the car that signifies that you've made it, that car that's like, yeah, this is me right now?
All right, not to be selfish, because you mentioned family.
No,
but,
I've
okay,
got
cool.
a selfish car already. Like.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a Porsche 1989 911.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be.
And what would signify that you've made it out of that car?
I think it's just more so what that car means to me, or what that car means to somebody who appreciates cars. They're a precise and durable sports car, and just the whole idea about precision just really reflects, or like it resonates with me from a place of being calculated or doing things with meaning. And I know Porsches in general tend to depreciate, but as they get older, they become, like in terms of like like basically like supply and demand. They become rarer and rarer. So I think that aspect of exclusivity is what I like. And also, you know, they're reliable. I would want to be reliable in 10 years. And last but not least,
You want to be more valuable in 10
yeah,
years.
exactly, and more valuable.
Yeah.
You know, and these are things like precision, doing things with meaning, exclusivity, being reliable, and last but not least, like people would always say that, like I think between 1978 and 1989, I think I got those dates right, are basically like the best Porsches they've ever been made within that period, and that's history. You know what I mean? And I want to go down the books as well. So I just think that it's just one of those things. Like, and classic cars age so well, and they got class about them, and I want to mature with class.
Yeah.
So
That sounds good. So I want to move away from like your car story. To kind of the trader in you and who you are career-wise, entrepreneur. You know, you've got your Pledge brand that you co-founded. And obviously your art, which became you had your first show in September during the pandemic.
October, Black History Month,
But you weren't an artist before the pandemic. How did that kind of come about?
Just a lot more time to think about what it is, all the things that I've been through, how that's made me the man I am. Probably some of my darker thoughts as well, that I've probably never had time to visit because you've just always been so fast-paced in life, and lockdown really helps you to slow down. So when you're slowing down, I think, as the world slowed down, I just got up to speed with where I'm at mentally and how to express that. Like, I'm not really the typer or not really like the writing type, but I can express myself through illustration, and I've always doodled, so I just ran with that. And with that said, things that I've been through, they all mean things, and they're quite deep to an extent. I don't really like the word deep, but like they hit home. So I got forced to show myself to the world in a sense, and for the better, for the good, and I just sort of ran with it. And I just want to then create a platform to help others, because that was the feedback I was getting from people, both in my social world, my professional world, and just even strangers as well. So I just like to think, I just don't like just thinking in a small-minded way, and I just thought, let me just use my art and use my presence and use my relationships I have to do something and have a social impact.
Okay. So you've had to be really resilient through being like a kid from South London who breaks into trading, becomes a rising star, actually winning awards. Now you have this like really successful brand with Pledge, raised £50,000 plus for Black Minds Matter through the exhibition and stuff. It's like, what next? Where do we go from here?
I think just more, first of all, I think rest is important. I think I need to spend more time just not slowing down, but just taking a bit of a breather. But more importantly, when I'm back from the breather, I want to do more things that I want to have tangible. Not only just have more experiences for people to actually be inspired, but actually have tangible, I wouldn't say products as such, but tangible tools that actually help. And there are some really exciting things coming up really soon. So, hopefully, I'll share them with you offline. I can't really do it on here, but like, you know, just do more practical and practical things, tangible things, and experiences to help others. That's my main aim, and I think from the art standpoint, social impact comes first before selling my artwork as such. You know.
One last question. A question I ask everybody: what do you want your legacy to be?
I think my legacy is to be. I think you know, that's quite difficult, because legacy, I just want to be remembered as somebody who made a difference. Okay. You know, who had a positive social impact that affected generations. And I want to be remembered by that, not necessarily famous for it at all, but just somewhere documented that, you know, I helped a community of people.
That's a really good answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For joining me. It was like, yeah, it was a real dream. Like, you inspired me genuinely.
You inspire me too.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you so much.
If you love these interviews, and you really should, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Hey.